for. Welcome. Hello, everybody. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to populate in here because I'm sure it's sending out notifications and I'm sure it's sending out, hey, Dante's live. So why don't we go ahead and initial thoughts on the iPhone. I'm doing the Pro versus Beginner series again with the iPhone. So I'm paying very close attention to this because I will be getting the Pro Max again. I'm using my 16 Pro Max to live today. So, yeah, we're gonna see what we're cooking with. I would like to see. I'll share some thoughts once we get a few viewers in here. But yeah, I think for this iPhone, I have a wish list of items I would like to see. I'd like to see certain specs. I'd like to see certain capabilities. I'd like to see certain physical items as well, like design choices. So, yeah, hopefully those will be addressed. But once things get popping, we'll actually talk about some stuff, and I will turn this up so you guys can hear. Um,
If you're upgrading from an older iPhone, you'll experience
the A19, of course, is
differences in
going to be a
speed,
faster chip. I mean, we kind of
advancements in
expected
Apple
that, right?
silicon, hardware, and software.
I'm really more
Make for
concerned about the
incredible
Pro
gaming
models,
on iPhone.
but I know that
Destiny Rise
a lot of
HD
people are looking to
are
upgrade some of their
reasonable
phones and they're
with
eyeballing the
upgradable graphics
17, which
refreshes
it
up to 120
historically they've given a lot of the
Hz.
Pro features from the
A19
last
features
generation to the base model of the next generation.
and updated
So,
graphics, also power
I mean, we already
advanced
saw
features.
ProMotion and like the
There are
refresh
new
rate
features available
improved.
today
So,
on iPhone that improve
Apple
efficiency and
Intelligence, I don't know. I feel like I was gaslit last time.
with iOS
Um,
26, we're adding
I feel like I was
intelligence
gaslit last time because I
features
bought the phone
you can
and then I
use
didn't get to use all the
as
features, and they're
with
still
updated
rolling
features
things
no
out
matter what's on your app or
today.
screen.
Um,
Live
so I don't know. I
transcription
don't know how to
and
feel about
voice
that. I don't know
communication
how to feel about that.
automatically.
I want to be excited about Apple
Voice
Intelligence,
commands
but the fumble
angelic
last time kind of made
Apple
me
Intelligence
hesitant to
makes
believe
the
that things
difference
are going to be
faster,
like
happier,
ready to
and
go.
more
You know what I'm saying?
detailed.
Um,
The efficiency of Apple's
yeah,
cameras
I mean,
leads to
we'll
ultimate
see. We'll
battery
see.
life.
All day battery life. I mean, my phone,
With
my
Videographer
16 Pro
Reacts,
Max is still at 99% capacity.
8 plus 8 hours of video
Eight
playback
plus eight
versus
hours
the
of
base
video
model
playback
16.
versus the base model
With
16. Okay,
larger battery, faster
that's
charge,
improved.
up to
But I do
50% charge in
50%
20
charge in
minutes.
20 minutes.
So just 10 minutes of charge gives you up to 8 hours of video
Wow,
playback.
50% charge in 20
The
minutes,
most
guys.
updated year
That's
of
pretty good.
iPhone cameras.
That's pretty solid. Um,
Here's Megan.
okay, so they're moving on to the next. So far, the base iPhone seems to be very similar to the Pro that's currently out for the 16. There are a lot of good capabilities there. I've been to this exact location. Okay, so we got the cameras, 48 megapixel fusion camera, 12 megapixel 2x telephoto. I don't, you know, that's cool. That's cool. Um, that's cool. But the 12 megapixel telephoto lens, we can't have at least like 24 in 2025? 25 in 2025, like we need to improve those and that megapixel count, guys. um I'm not a photographer personally. I mean, I take photos, but I'm not a photographer. But I mean, the megapixel count I feel like should be better. 48 megapixel ultra wide. Okay, so it's very similar to like what the 16 Pro has now. um you could see that I'm like it's cool because I'm excited that like the regular iPhone 17 is getting all this stuff because this stuff has really helped me create better content. And like it's nice to have this level of camera in your pocket, which thank you for calling out hitting the like button. I do appreciate that. I appreciate all the support. But I don't know how much I appreciate the camera selection on there. 500 billion selfies taken last year. I'm not sure that's a metric I was ever curious about, but I guess I can sleep soundly knowing that 500 billion were taken last year. Center stage front camera. Okay, so that's very similar to like. Let me go ahead and grab this bad boy. That's very similar to like what this is capable of. Like what your MacBook, what your iPad, so that like whenever it'll reframe your camera, so that you're always centered. So it'll crop in a little bit. Like it'll crop in. It'll make it look like this. but you're always going to be center frame, even if you walk around a little bit. So like I would, even if I did this movement, I'd still be centered. Um, which I do enjoy and I appreciate for like certain Zoom calls, or if I hop on Google Meet or something. Um, it's pretty nice. What they're showing orientations of photos now. That's going to be interesting. You don't have to rotate your iPhone to take a landscape picture. Oh, is it a wider? It's a wider selfie cam. Oh, there's crop modes for selfie cam, and there's I see a new camera layout as well. That looks different. That looks different. Are we actually going to see a new and improved camera layout from the iPhone? That is a really wide camera. I wish you guys could see. I wish there was a way I could like. You can kind of see it back here. Um, I think that's good. I think for like everyday, like casual users who aren't content creators, I think this is plenty. I think this is more than enough. Um, yeah, and like the super steady shots, I think. Yeah, I think this is just gonna make it more accessible for people. Like you don't need all the fancy like know-how of how to operate a camera in order to get the good content and get the good angles, get stable footage. I think anything like that is always welcome. I'm not sure how Android stacks up against this. I really do want to test out because I've done a lot of videos about the iPhone, where I teach people how to make movies essentially with it. But I do want to like use a Z Fold or something. I want to use a Pixel. I want to like really experiment with those to see how they actually stack up from a videographer's perspective. From a videographer, that's a key term there. Um, I mean, so far, so good. You know, it looks good. You got the 48 megapixel fusion camera system. You still got the styles. You got the action button now. So again, it's very similar to like what the Pro models currently offer. Ceramic Shield 2. So I made a video that I actually this is the first iPhone that I've ever cracked, because I don't use the case on my phone. It's actually gotten worse, and I'll show you guys later in the live the reality of the condition of my iPhone now because I dropped it the other day. It flew out of my gym shorts pocket and then just hit the concrete perfectly on its back. So I now have a case. Um, all right, what do we got next? Are we gonna? I feel like there's gonna be because they said 4 iPhones, so that means a base iPhone. There's probably a light or some type of variation of that. Then you're gonna have the Pro and the Pro Max. That's my guess. Um, that is a thin. The camera's thicker than the physical phone. As soon as I say that, they show. Yo, I'm gonna be completely candid with you. An iPhone that thin, I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe with that. Do y'all remember what was it, the 7 that bent? Um I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, and this is coming from somebody that has a whole bunch of different Apple devices. I have like the iPhone, the freaking iPad, all this stuff sitting around me. But like that's not going to stop me from questioning what's going on here. Um that it because like a thinner phone, like I'd be nervous about like if is that one camera on there in 2025? Is that one camera? That better be like the best camera on the planet if you're only having one camera. Uh-oh. That design that leaked though is looking a little more promising. Okay, the battery. And that's the other thing is like how good of a battery. I mean, I guess if this is like just a super efficient, like lower spec version of an iPhone, I guess I mean the batteries these chips are already so efficient, but like I don't know. I want to be excited for this, but I guess I'm just not the target demographic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I agree. I think phone cameras they suffer from physical limitations. And that's what it's always going to be. Like I have, do I have a lens next to me from like an actual my DSL, not my DSLR, my mirrorless. This is one of my lenses for a full frame camera. This is like as big as the iPhone, basically. I mean, it's like an inch, but like they suffer from physical limitations, and that's what it's always going to be. I'm sorry. This is this an Air? Is that what we're going to call it? Are we going to stick with that kind of lineup? Um, you know what? I agree about. I agree that we need to have some gimmicky stuff, like oh, they got the ProMotion on here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by like what the specs on the screen that they're popping up. Always on display at 1 hertz. Okay, yeah, that's anti-reflection and 3 times better scratch resistance. Okay. I mean, that's always welcome, because people be dropping phones. Like I said, I dropped mine the other day, and I actually 4 times more resistance to cracks. If I had a wallet built like that, I'd love to test that. I would love to just like go like real stress test. So it's got a solo camera, it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Phone cameras, it's like again, they're limited by what the physical like composition of the camera and the lens and the glass. It's like there's only so much that you can do with it before software has to like step in and like actually take it to that next level. Um, it's just the reality. More durable than any previous iPhone. You know, it's good that they're specifying that because, again, I've been like, what's the word? I'm having a brain fart moment. Um, I don't know. I've been a little hesitant since they showed the first render because it's such a thin phone that I'm like, oh, I love Chicago so much. Chicago is like probably my number one. No, it's probably my number two. New York's probably my number one. Sorry. Okay, so let's see the VP platform architecture. Have we mentioned anything about like the camera specs and all that stuff? That's what I'm concerned with, because again, it's an A19 Pro. Wait, is this an upgraded chip from the other one? 2 performance cores improved. Okay. Wait a minute. Are we still talking about that fastest CPU in any smartphone? What's going on here, guys? Um, what's happening here? Yeah, I don't get the desire for thinner and thinner phones. They're already thin enough. I agree with you 100%. Like even my iPad. Let me smack this. The iPad. Like I got the iPad Pro, the 10-inch. This already makes me nervous enough. I don't think I want anything that's thinner than that. I don't think I do. That's bad enough. Um, I don't know. I think we need to focus on better battery life. I think we need to focus on more durability. I think there are things that we can definitely improve on, but I do think that phones in general, like across the board, I don't care if you're Android, iPhone, whatever. I think that like the leaps that we're going to start seeing in the technology, they're going to start to become more like steps and then maybe just like little shuffles. Because we've reached a point where things have gotten so small and so I don't know. It's like we've reached a point where like those leaps aren't going to be as big for a plethora of reasons. But wireless connectivity. Okay, what are we talking about? Okay, what's coming to iPhone? Something from Apple Watch? N1. Okay. Yeah. Your phone is 6 years. Yeah. Honestly, if it works, keep it. That's my honest 2 cents. If it works, keep it. I think that like feeling the need to upgrade every single year is not necessary. Like I think if you're happy with your phone, replace the battery. I think that's because that's just wear and tear that happens over time naturally. Do that. C1X chip. What does that do? 2 times faster than C1. Maybe if I stopped yapping, I could actually understand what they're talking about. 30% less energy than iPhone 16 Pro. Interesting.
iPhone Air is the most power efficient
The most
iPhone
power
ever.
efficient iPhone ever. I would hope that the Air would be
Weighs
the most
4
power
pounds of
efficient,
double silicon
because if
and
it's going to be
delivers
that
great better
like that
results.
thin
And iPhone Air
and
is the realization of that
that
vision.
minimalist, I would hope that it'd be the most power efficient. Personally.
The camera system in iPhone Air delivers the
Okay.
most popular
This is
features
what I
in
want to
any
pay attention
smartphone,
to.
the
The camera
world's
system.
favorite camera. What might appear to be a single
Let me
camera
know if you guys
is
can hear. I'm
actually
turning it
a
up so you guys
new,
can try to hear it.
powerful 48 megapixel fusion camera
48
system,
megapixel fusion
which
camera.
works like multiple advanced cameras in one. You can shoot breathtaking 48 megapixel photos, capturing even the small trees across the valley and the deep color range on the stone wall. And the 2x telephoto has an updated
A
photo
2x
processor,
telephoto.
which now uses machine learning
I
to capture the
think
light,
okay, so it's got one
shadows,
camera.
and the vibrant
It's
colors
got
of
one
the
camera.
landscape.
We saw that.
This fusion camera
And it's
excels
got
at
a
lighting,
26 millimeter
ambient light
focal length.
sensors,
Interesting. So it's up
multitasking,
2 millimeters.
adaptive
And then
design,
48
and
megapixel.
optical image
And it's
stabilization.
got optical, okay,
Touch
a
sensors can
1.6
detect
aperture.
optical
And
quality
then you
drops
can have
and
a
create a
52
2x
mil
telephoto,
2x
delivering
telephoto, 12 megapixel, 1.6
4K video.
aperture still.
With a powerful
So it seems like it's just
autofocus,
compressing the same
this system
sensor, just
enables the
zooming
real
in.
signature features
Um,
of the iPhone camera, like 24 megapixel default photos,
24 megapixel.
capturing
See,
near the fine texture of the dress, and even nuances
like a
of
lot of
color,
these test images that they
and next
show,
generation portraits with frequency
um,
control, which works
a
like
lot of these have
clockwork.
like
It
professional lighting and
simulates
like
waffles,
that the waffles
like
probably have a
Apple's
food
Pear Tree
stylist. So
or
keep that in
Apple's Apple,
mind
which
whenever you're
mimics
looking at this
consumer
stuff,
lifestyle,
is that
blends skin tones, and applies a powerful
oftentimes they'll
contrast
have something
across
like
the
that.
image. And the custom 28 and 35 millimeter lenses give
Okay.
users more
I do like the fact that
flexibility
you can
and
switch between like one
a
tap,
total of
26,
4
28,
megapixels per
35,
pixel.
52. I wish it was
Smart is new and innovative in the
24
way of
though,
camera. You don't need to rotate the
because
camera
I
to
think
adjust
everyone is
exposure,
so used to
shutter,
having like
or
your
switch between
primary,
mode
if
in
you
full
open
portrait.
your iPhone
You
camera,
don't need
it's a
orientation.
24 mil, like equivalent, 24 millimeters.
And
So I
with
wish that was the
Videographer
case. I'm
Reacts,
not sure
which
why
combines the front
it
and
had to be a
back camera,
26.
dual capture video is perfect
Dual
for shooting
capture,
yourself
about
or
freaking
posting
time,
photo
dude.
reactions at a game
Dual
show.
capture video, it is
This
about
dual
time to have
capture
that in the
front
native
camera
camera app.
keeps you in frame
I would
while
love
also
that,
maintaining
especially for things
focus.
like this, like going
And
live.
with
That way I
iPhone,
could like have one
you
camera
can
that's on
control
the
the image
actual
quality,
presentation and then one that's on me, like in a smaller
and there is so
window.
much more to these camera systems, like action mode,
4K
autofocus,
60, dual
advanced
capture,
lighting, and all the
photographic
features you can't
styles,
handle
center
alone.
stage.
There's another
Excuse me.
important innovation that helped bring iPhone Air to life,
Okay.
and that is eSIM.
eSIM.
We pioneered eSIM years
Haven't we
ago,
had
and
that?
now it's an industry
Isn't
standard.
that not new?
Compared to that decades-old piece of plastic, eSIM is so
Decades
much
old
easier to
piece
use
of
and
plastic
better
is a
secure
crazy
than
sentence I
basic
never thought I'd
bracket
hear from an
sleeves
Apple event.
inside iPhones. eSIM is also great for travel. Carry
Yeah,
it with
eSIM is
you
great. It's great
wherever
tech because
you
then
need to go.
it's
If you want to use a
you don't have to
local
worry about
SIM,
anything, and
it's
then it's
easy to
just
set up
for
eSIM
travel.
from the
It's just
comfort of
there.
your home
You don't
or
have to worry
office.
about other
There's
stuff.
no need to add
Um,
physical SIM cards, and you can have data from the moment you land to
yeah,
your
that's
destination.
nice. That's convenient. Um,
eSIM coverage is available globally
Available
thanks to extensive planning and testing with
globally.
our carrier partners.
Good.
Because
Okay.
of this, we
Go
designed
anywhere.
iPhone Air to
Go
be
to
eSIM only worldwide,
Antarctica and go see the penguins,
maximizing
and then
internal space
you can
and
FaceTime
battery
them.
size.
That'd be fun.
Now, let's talk about battery life.
Battery life. Here we go. For an Air, I hope it's
We've built
stellar.
hardware and software to deliver great
What do we
battery
got?
life
What
with
do we got?
iPhone Air. Powered by our
Okay, they're
latest
showing a
advanced
render.
Apple Silicon
Okay.
built for
How
efficiency.
big is the battery?
The internal
It
design has
can't be
been
that big.
completely rethought to maximize battery space.
Yeah, no, this
iOS
is
26 introduces new power-saving features like
okay.
adaptive
Adaptive power
power mode,
mode.
which learns your usage patterns and anticipates when you might run low on battery, intelligently
Oh,
conserving power to help you make it through the day.
okay. So it learns
Smart
your
Home
usage
and Home,
patterns.
iPhone
So it's
Air
kind of like a
delivers
smart
all
feature.
unlimited all-day battery
That's
life.
cool.
This is incredible. All-day battery life in our thinnest iPhone
That's
ever.
cool. All day battery life in your
We're
thinnest
also
iPhone ever.
introducing a new ecosystem of accessories to
And then a new
complement this feature.
accessories. Like what kind of
Plus,
stuff? I wonder if they're gonna have
thanks to the
stuff that's like
incredible thickness of
designed
iPhone
specifically
Air,
for this.
we were able to create a new low-profile MagSafe battery that
A
we
low
attach to
profile
your
MagSafe
USB
battery.
and is slim enough to drop right into your pocket.
I think that's
When
cool.
using them together,
I
iPhone
think
Air gives
like
you up 40 hours of video playback.
yeah, I think that's
You can binge
cool.
on all 40
Like,
episodes of For All Mankind
would
and
I
get a great
personally
night's
buy
sleep
an
at
iPhone
night.
Air? No. I'm gonna buy the
We've
Pro.
also designed
But that's because I'm also a heavy user of my phone. It's part of like my workflow. But like I think it's cool that like they think about these things.
Designed to provide great
Um,
drop protection, available in
yeah,
first
I
and
think it's cool that
second
they're thinking
generation.
about it.
The second is a lightweight bumper made from a
A
real
lightweight
iPhone
bumper.
wood. It perfectly frames iPhone Air and is available in
So
four
it's like a phone
optional colors.
case. Or is it not a phone
The fourth
case?
option
It's just a
is a
rubber outline.
two-in-one crossbody strap.
That's in a crossbody strap. Okay.
Designed to hold your phone
They
steady
have thought about
while you
this.
easily adjust the length.
I feel like that's a direct nod to
Second,
like
and
the little point and shoot cameras that we have nowadays, like the
has
Fuji and the
pro performance inside.
a Leica, you know.
Incredible durability.
Okay,
Stable
well,
camera systems on both
I'd
front and
say
back.
if you're a content
This
creator
Apple designed
and
camera
your
is
phone's
built for efficiency and works
decently old,
entirely
like
all the
five
way
plus
back.
years, this could be a good
With
upgrade.
a new design that frankly seems impossible,
But
and we can't wait for
let's
you to
wait and
see
see
it.
what they say about the
Now,
Pro
back to Tim.
and the Pro Max before we get too ahead of
iPhone
ourselves.
Air is
As a
designed to
videographer,
deliver
my thoughts on the Air so far, it's cool, it's
ultra
great.
low
I
performance
think
and
that the
unbelievable
thin
camera
factor
output.
really makes things
But
convenient.
not
I
to
think it
understand
makes
the Pro
things
enough, we are turning
different,
attention
but I
to
do
the
have my
Pro.
concerns just
Designed
because
with
we've
limitless
seen
performance and
I think it was
capability,
the 7 that bent in
the
people's
smartphone is
pockets.
simple.
So it's like
We
I
built the most pro iPhone
personally I
ever
like having a
in one
device that like
design.
I can feel.
We started from
You know,
scratch
like I
and rebuilt it from
don't
the
like
inside
having
out.
super thin
Introducing the iPhone
devices. Like I
17
don't
Pro.
like that. And it's only looking that like thicker because of the case. What is this?
Developed to redefine
Uh-oh.
the Pro,
They've got
to
a
provide
sheet of
performance,
titanium?
stability, and capability.
A sheet of titanium on a voiceover.
Again, from solid
There's
aluminium
something's about to
to
drop.
plastic,
Oh, now we're
to
pressing the
silicon
titanium.
that's heated and forged, then precision
And
machined
now oh,
into
we are
thousands of finer and finer
were
layers.
the leaks real?
Traveling through successive anodizing baths, we build the colorful
The leaks were
and
real.
durable oxide outer layer
The leaks were real.
to
I had
create
a feeling
the
that the
first
leaks, like, because you could see the bar.
a light, thermally
I had a
efficient,
feeling.
and rigid enclosure.
So it looks like we're gonna have okay. We got the action button cut out. We got the volume and all that stuff.
Designed for the biggest battery in any iPhone.
Biggest battery in any iPhone.
The full-width camera plateau elegantly integrates the antenna
What about the
and
cameras
enables
though?
a new Pro camera system.
Pro camera system. Okay, okay, y'all. This is where I'm gonna start getting excited.
Core to the unmatched performance
Because
of
again, the whole premise. I'm a professional videographer.
but this much
And
power
my content, I teach people how to make videos, and a lot of my recent stuff has been catered around mobile because
to
I always
outshine
encourage people to like that's your first camera. Like don't go out and spend, you know, $4,000 on a camera. Just upgrade your phone to the highest tier possible, learn on that, and then get
designed to
something.
resist whatever
So
life throws at it.
I'm really curious to see what in the world? There's no way they did this. Look at all that coins and the glass and the nails and the keys and they're swinging it through it. How fast were they doing that though?
Of Pro. iPhone 17
There's a blue and orange and a white. Wait, is that not the Pro?
iPhone 17 Pro is by far the most advanced iPhone ever.
Okay.
Featuring a
See,
super
whenever these presentations happen with these brands, they're always like, it's the best ever, or it's our best rendition ever. It's like, why would we expect anything less from your latest and greatest? That's for anybody. That's no shade to just Apple, but like anybody. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, this is good. Okay. I want to see better low light out of this phone, this Pro, man. I want to see better low light. Okay.
The iPhone 17
Let me know if you
Pro
guys can hear in the
is
background
more
too.
than just a fresh, bold new look.
I'm gonna keep it loud.
It also delivers a dramatic leap in performance that makes this the
All right.
most powerful iPhone ever. By
iPhone
far.
17 Pro.
And
What do
it
we got?
starts with an entirely new approach to thermal management, which
Okay.
is critical to system performance.
That
We
is
manage power
key.
and surface temperature to make sure iPhone 17 Pro
Yes,
and iPhone 17
the thermal
Pro Max always deliver
aspect of it
exceptional
and
performance
like
for the
heat
impossible
diffusion.
to hold.
Have I heard of Nokia? Oh, actually, I heard that. Isn't that like an indie brand?
Vapor chamber.
I saw it on Kickstarter the other day.
Is sealed inside the vapor chamber, which is
What in the world? A laser welded vapor chamber.
Efficiently moves heat away from the components
Okay. I'm
for
curious.
higher sustained performance.
You know, this is good. This is good because I think that
Strategically
looks like we still have a dynamic island too.
efficiently dissipated and
Um,
by the forged aluminum
unless they're saving that for the Pro Max or something, which I think we're just gonna have.
for its superior
I think we're just gonna have
which is
an island no matter what.
than the titanium.
Which personally I don't really care about.
This proprietary alloy is
It doesn't bother me,
lighter.
but
As a result, it was the perfect choice for
yeah. All right. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Um,
product that remains comfortable.
very yes. Oh, you know, I would love to see.
In three stunning
You know what? I think I should try to shoot like a documentary or something with a Nokia phone. That's a good idea. And see like what we can do with that. But time to get the 16 Pro Max. Hate the design of the 17 Pros. I think this is definitely this is bold of them because they've had like the same look this whole entire time. So the subtle design changes are like enough to be bold. Um, I don't know. I think the 16. I think you're gonna be very happy with the 16 Pro or a Pro Max. Like I'm using the Pro Max personally. I think you're gonna be happy with it. Um, I think that this. Okay, obviously the new chip is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be way better. I'm not somebody that like goes crazy over specs, unless it comes to like what the camera and stuff can do. Because again, pro videographer, giving thoughts on the iPhone. That's what I'm doing. 40% better sustained performance. Were people having issues with their like the software from the iPhone? Because personally, I've never had any issues. Whenever it first came out, actually, there were times whenever I'd activate the camera using the action button, and I have it set to ProRes like 4K 30, where sometimes the phone would just like reboot on its own. But then like the next software update, it stopped. All right, gaming is great. Durability is fantastic also. Mine is, I tested my durability, unfortunately, the other day after a video shoot, and it failed. My entire back glass is shattered right now. 4 times more resistant to cracks. Yeah, that's really fantastic to know after mine's already cracked. What is this? What, new generation glass or something? 3 times better scratch resistance. I've never had issues with iPhone scratching, to be honest with you. Like I haven't had a screen protector on mine since I got it, and it's been a year just about, and it's no scratches. It's doing just fine. But the back though, the back is cooked. Back is cooked. This iPhone is. I had to get a case because it's chopped now. Bigger battery. What else? Okay, video playback. That's good and all. 39 hours of video playback. I don't know who needs that. If you're watching 39 hours of video straight. Camera system. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm going to start getting loud. Okay. Camera system. What do we got? Show me. Give me the specs. If you guys don't know, I'm actually I'm doing another Pro versus Beginner series where the Pro, which could be me, is you know, it's. Sorry, I got completely thrown off by the beautiful skyline in the background. There's a new design for the camera app too, but oh no, the Pro versus Beginner series that I'm doing, I'm giving the Pro access to only just the new iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I know nothing about. But then the beginners, they get access to like all my lighting, all my audio, the cinema gear. They get access to all of it, and then we compete for a local business to create commercials for them. So it's a really cool opportunity because then like here in St. Louis, we get to have fun with it. Everything's 48 megapixels, finally. Okay. Hopefully I'm not disturbing too many people in the studio. 48 megapixels for every single camera. That's what we've needed. I worked for Apple. I'm glad the hell is over. Yeah. I'm sure there's been a lot of conversations, like comments and things that have been said. 8x zoom.
Quality zoom ever. iPhone 17
What focal length?
has our next generation.
Okay, 100 millimeter focal length, 48 megapixel, beautiful, 2.8 aperture, 12 megapixel, 200 millimeter focal length,
It features a sensor that is 56% larger,
56% larger sensor.
which improves sharpness and
Y'all, they might have actually cooked with this one.
detail across all light levels.
Okay, low light. I mean, that bigger sensor is going to help with low light. It will help with low light because that's just more surface area for the light to hit.
Millimeters is a classic lens for portraiture,
Okay.
providing a flattering
I mean, I'm not going to use it for portraits, but it's good to know that if I decide to take that path in life, I have that option. Can't even afford the iPhone XR. Listen, I don't even know what iPhone prices are nowadays, to be honest with you. But I think any of the recent ones you're going to be happy with. To be honest with you, you're going to be happy. Don't worry. I'm curious about the video. I do like the photo capabilities though, because like, again, a content creator, I take the pictures and all that stuff. So it's good to have this tool in my pocket because, like, I mean, I have things like the S9 that I keep with me that I have interchangeable lenses for, which I think I have. Where'd I put that lens? I have like a 24 to 60 mil, and then I have an 18 mil wide angle lens. How many? 48 megapixel. Wait, is it 48 megapixel macro mode now? I've always hated macro mode. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Okay, world-class photographers. I like that. Are you gonna name drop? Can we see? I wanna know who you gave it to. That text is so tiny. Location, New York. Let's go. Let's go. I got some Brooklyn shots. All right. These are some good stuff. But keep in mind, everybody, keep in mind that these test images that they show oftentimes have a lot of lighting. They have a crew involved. Like just for this shot that you're seeing right now, you can even see some of the lights in the mirror. I have 3 lights going right now. All right, I'm assuming we're going to talk more about video specs too. Let's see. What else we got? It looks like YouTube is filtering some comments right now. 4K 120, ProRes log. Okay. Yeah, that is loved by filmmakers. More nimble and more flexible. Is this a Pilates phone? What are we doing? What if they hit us with like a foldable one? That'd be crazy. ProRes RAW. ProRes RAW. Ooh. They just said ProRes RAW. Final Cut camera and Blackmagic camera support. Wait, can you do like time code with the iPhone? No way. Yo, okay, all right. I'm sorry. I've been very locked in. I'm trying to repeat the information that I'm hearing. They have like 48 iPhones right now just lined up doing this shot. That's crazy. You can link together all those iPhones. ProRes RAW is huge alone. And the file size is going to be huge. I'm scared. I'm apologizing to my MacBook right now because it's going to scream. Tech woven case. So what? Multiple yarn. This was a very jarring transition. I just got a text from my buddy Luke. Luke, which he's on YouTube as well. New iPhone is low-key crazy. which yeah, I'm gonna make sure to crossbody strap for the iPhone. I think they're really going for. You know what? Okay, here's my theory based on like how heavy they're pushing this crossbody strap. I think that they're really trying to push towards the casual consumer market for cameras. And what I mean by that is the point and shoots. Like, I think they're really trying to go for that market right now. I really do think they're trying to go for it. Um, they didn't mention anything about battery life though. It just says best battery life ever. But I do think it's crazy that now we have a 200 millimeter lens in our pocket. In our pocket. It's 12 megapixels, which I'm not like super crazy about. What in the world? Shot with an iPhone. They're really trying to push the durability of this. It feels like they're really trying to push the durability. The weather sealing with the tornado, which don't do that, by the way. We were in a tornado earlier this year. Would not recommend that. The horses. This looks like Last of Us. Okay. The detail shots, the detail shots. They got the cages, which I noticed that Small Rig launched their iPhone 17 like filmmaking cases. Like as soon as the event dropped, so people saw what the iPhone looked like before it even happened. Yeah, no, I think for like pros on film sets, this is okay. There, it's yelling. Again, see, they say this is our best ever, but that every year should be your best ever. If you don't say that, I'm alarmed. iPhone 17 starts at $799 for 256 gigs. Air starts at $999 for 1099 and 1199 for 256 gigs. 2 terabyte. I talked about this. How much? How much is it gonna be though? How much is it gonna be, guys? How much are we looking at for this? $599 for the 16E, so they didn't do a 17E. September 19th is the day that they land, but pre-orders are on Friday. Wait.
These iPhone 17 Pro models are the most advanced Pro models we've ever created.
So they dropped the price.
And this new iPhone lineup represents the biggest.
Are we not talking about the Pro Max?
The products and innovations we introduced.
Hold on. Wait. Are we not talking about the Pro Max?
It reflects our deep commitment to designing industry-leading products.
Wait, guys, hold on. Hold on. Wait. We can't just be skipping over the Pro Max, right? Or are we just like saying the Pro and the Pro Max are the same? It's just bigger screen, bigger battery. Because that feels like a cop-out. Thank you for joining us. What? Whoa, did I miss something? Shot on iPhone, edited on Mac. That's it? That was it. It's over. That's actually, they're not. Thanks for watching. Okay. Guys? So okay, let's decompress here for a second. Let's talk about this. Because we saw a lot of different things, and now I could probably pull this stuff up on my iPad and show you. So we saw the new iPhone models released or revealed just now. And if you're wanting to pre-order start this Friday, and then they're available, it looks like the 19th, I think it said. It's trying to autoplay to the next thing, so let me mute this real quick. So let's talk for a second. First of all, tell me your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what your initial opinion is before I really start going into this. I see the trash can emojis. I think I think there are certain things that would definitely caught me off guard in both good and bad ways. Let me just go ahead and pull this up on it. Let me pull up a thing. Hold on. iPhone 17. Let's start there. Let's start with the iPhone 17. So they talked about a whole bunch of different things where they've improved the camera, they've improved the battery life, they've improved the capabilities. Of course, it's like a faster chip. Let's just go ahead and pull this stuff up. Let's pull this stuff up. All right, learn more about the iPhone 17. I do think the colorways are cool. Colorways are cool. Who's gonna say no to other colors? A lot of people put cases on their phones though, so I don't know if that's really like a selling point. Okay, so the front camera is now 18 megapixels. I think that's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good amount. Um, with these front cameras, they're not meant to be like your main video or photo camera. It's just more for like those selfie moments. And also, if you want to be able to have like that center frame thing that they're talking about, which that basically it zooms in a little bit, so it crops into your screen and then keeps you center. Even if I do movements like this, my face will always be center. So you need that higher resolution to be able to do that. Um, I think that's a good amount. And I think that the specs for it, it's like it's cool. It's got ultra stable video, so you can do selfie, running, you can bike, you can do whatever it is. You could, I don't know if you do like car photography and stuff, but like sometimes I'd be hanging out of windows and I'd just be holding it and the breeze is like hitting. It's good. It's good to have that. And all of the cameras have 48 megapixels now. This is long overdue, in my personal opinion. I think we've needed this for a while now. Because 48 megapixels on paper sounds great, but please keep in mind that we are limited to the physical size of the iPhone sensor. So the physical sensor is going to limit how great like the 48 megapixels out of my actual camera, my mirrorless camera, versus an iPhone are going to be very different megapixels, very different zoom in quality, very different. Okay. Overall, I think this is great. I think this is long overdue. So you've got your like default 24 megapixel, 48 megapixels. But then you've also got the telephoto, which I think is like a 52, and then I think you can turn that into like a 12 megapixel. I think that's what that is. So I mean, this is stuff. This just happened, so I might get some facts wrong. So please correct me in the comments. But I do think it's good because that way every single camera that you have on there is, like you said, going to be consistent. I do like that. Um, Still curious to see how it works in like low light because iPhones don't necessarily do the best in low light. So curious to see how that goes. Of course, all day battery life. Who's gonna say no to that? I I've never had problems with my 16 Pro Max running out of battery. I think the closest I've ever gotten was it was like a very long travel day, and then I immediately went to a video production where it was like another 12-hour shoot, and that was the only time I've ever come close to running out of battery. But then I used my V mount to charge it, and it made it just fine. And I didn't have it on power saving mode either. I do want to talk about this detail, which I'm going to zoom in on. 50% charge. This is probably backwards, but 50% charge in 20 minutes. I think that's amazing. I remember when I had an Android, the last Android I had was like a Note, but like I remember how fast it charged, and I loved that about it. But then it took iPhone this long to catch up. Just my 2 cents. Um, I do think it's funny how the comparison thing is on the iPhone 13. Um, 50% faster CPU, 11 hours of playback more. Um, no, I think it's good. I think for content creators, if you're just like looking to get the latest and greatest iPhone, if you just want to, or you want to switch ecosystems, I think that the iPhone 17 is going to be a solid tool in your toolkit. Let's talk about the iPhone Air because that's a new addition to the lineup. It's extraordinarily thin, and I talked about how worried I am about this because we remember the iPhone 7. It bent a little bit. Um, it bent. All right, we can't forget that. So I get nervous when I see any manufacturer make a very thin thing, especially because you can see the camera notch. If you look real close, it's like almost twice the width of the phone itself. So that's my 2 cents on that. Super thin, striking light, shockingly strong. I think it's cool. It's got the same center stage camera as the regular 17. Um, New front, new rear, new camera. It's got one camera, mind you. one camera on this Air, which 18 megapixel center stage, same as the iPhone 17, the base model. 48 megapixel Fusion main camera, 4K 60, Dolby Vision. I think 4K 60 is great. I think every phone I think has been able to shoot that for a while now. 4 lenses in your pocket. 18, yeah, the center stage. I I would skip the Air. I'm gonna be real with you. I would skip it if I were a content creator. I think if you're just looking for the thinnest phone, cool, sure, it's great. But I think when it comes to being a videographer, my initial thought is I wouldn't even consider it. Just being totally blunt with you. Um, but that's also because this is my job. I'm a professional. This is what I do for a living. But I think if you're somebody that's just looking to, if you have an older iPhone and you want to upgrade and you want to have the latest and greatest, but you want something that's like got a little bit of edge over the normal 17, go ahead and snag it. I mean, the Air is cool, but it is what it is. 16 Pro Max is great. Apple sucked at selling the 17 Pro Max. We're going to get there right now because actually the next step is to talk about the 17 Pro. Okay, they really did not give us a lot to work with on this. I was kind of surprised whenever they breezed over it in maybe like 7 minutes. I feel like we need more. I feel like we need more info and context here. Okay, so it's got this heat forged aluminum unibody design. It's got, the A19 Pro, the Pro camera system. I'm listen, phenomenal. Center stage camera, they're really trying to push that, but I think, excuse me, that's something that's been a thing on previous devices or on other Apple products. So it's cool because, again, it's that consistency amongst the ecosystem that you can do that for the entirety of what you're using. Unibody structure, cool. Take a closer look at all the stuff. They didn't even mention like half this stuff, like the Pro display, the camera control, the action button. They didn't even like touch on this stuff. Let's talk about the camera though. Okay, this new Pro Max camera. Is 17 Pro Max really worthy? 18 megapixel front camera is really disappointing. I think it's for the job. I think it's fine. Because personally, I'm not using my selfie camera that much. I mean, I'm not using it that much, so I don't really put as much emphasis on it. But I do think that nowadays, I think the 12 was way too low. I'm not sure what similar like flagship Androids are spec'd at now. And if you know, drop them in the comments so that I can like really do a really like a good comparison. But I do think that it does the job. It's not like anything I'm gonna get like super excited about, but it does the job. The battery of the 17 Air, they said it was phenomenal. They said it was like the best battery life. But I also expect that because it's a very low performing, not low performing, but it's like the most power efficient phone in their lineup. So that's kind of what I expect. But if the front camera was rumored at 24, I think the Pro model should have had something a little bit better because having that same, now that I'm like really processing it, having that same megapixel count, if I'm going to get a Pro, I want something a little bit extra. You know what I'm saying? Like I want a little bump in resolution. But I will say that the back cameras, now that we have like the 100 millimeter and the 200 millimeter, granted it is like 12 megapixels, that's fine. I just like the fact that we even have it because 12 megapixels, I think a lot of people overlook this, but that's 4K quality. That means that I can have a 200 millimeter equivalent and shoot on my iPhone and have 4K quality. That's going to be incredible, which I am definitely going to be using because whenever I go to like different cities, I like to get like skyline shots and stuff, and I like to be like really far away because that zoom gives me that compression look. So I'm gonna love that personally. And I think that the 200 millimeter is great. The 56% larger sensor, which they did mention right there. I know this is backwards, but they mentioned the 56% larger sensor. That is good because whenever it comes to like especially low light capabilities, you want more sensor for the light to be able to hit the image that you're whatever you're capturing. So a bigger sensor to me is always going to be a welcome addition, because earlier in this live I was talking about how there are limitations to what phones and mobile, like iPads, there's a limitation to what they'll even be able to do because they're limited by the physical size of the sensor. The glass can be great, but like also the physical size of the glass. There's limitations there. So a bigger sensor, I'm all for it. I think it's great. Um, what else is there? 16x optical zoom range, low light photography capabilities. I do like also that there's like buttons for the macro mode. There's the 24 mil. Well, hold on. Let me go to the 13 mil, which is the ultra wide. The 24 mil, which is like your pretty standard, not resolution, but like your standard focal length. 28 millimeters is another popular portrait one, and it's also good for like street photography. Personally, I like that. 35 mil is also another, like for a lot of point and shoot cameras, you'll notice a lot of prime lenses. They have that option. Like I almost picked up a 35 mil myself. 48 mil, I mean a 48 mil is just, it's fine. I'm not personally a huge fan because that's like, you might as well say it's 50 mil because then that's a good portrait. But then 85 mil, I would have loved to have seen an 85 mil. But then 100 millimeter and then 200 millimeter. So they have all of these examples here, and it's all good resolution. I'm happy with that. Um, I'm good. I'm good with that. I think anything that's going to help us create more content and create higher quality content, I think is good. I think the aperture is good. The 1.7 for your main camera, your 24 to 48 focal length is good because that's a really good low light aperture. That's pretty open. 2.2 is pretty good. But that's for the ultra wide, which I want to see a better like I want to see better quality in low light from the ultra wide. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. And then on top of that, we got the Fusion telephoto camera for the 100 and 200 at a 2.8 aperture, which some people might be like, isn't that like, don't we want like 1.7 or something like that? But if you think about it, like with how much is in focus in an image, once you're zooming that far, if you have this big of a focus range and you're zooming from that far, that means nothing's going to be in focus. So 2.8 is honestly ideal for something like that, which I'm very happy to see. 18 megapixel center stage front camera. That's what they have on the website. It's fine. One thing I do want to touch on though is the dual capture video, where like I'm pretty sure Androids have had this for a while now, where you can have like the selfie camera and then the rear camera. I know Androids have had this for a while because there's a video very old on my channel from like 7 years, maybe 8 years ago, now that I'm thinking about it, that I filmed on my Galaxy Note 5, I think, and I used the dual capture, and it was native in the camera app. So I know that other phones have had this for a while. Ultra stabilized video, I do think this is good because I think it's good just because there are people that do like running videos, there are people that do action shots, and that extra layer of stabilization I think will be good. I think that's going to be solid. Or like, let's say you're on a bike and you want to phone mount and just like record what's going on, and you hit like some rough terrain, you'll be able to have that. It's like meant to compete with the GoPro basically, and it's 4K 60. Good, 4K 60. And then the pro video features, which these are going to be more niche for the actual pro audience, but I'll talk about it because that happens to be me. So ProRes RAW. Okay. If you don't know what ProRes is, it's kind of like the industry standard. It's a video codec, essentially, where there's just like so much information that's captured with it. That's why the file sizes are often huge with ProRes. Like for example, if I shot with my GH6, for example, it can shoot ProRes, but like a 5.7K 30 frames per second is 1.7 gigabits a second. That's a lot of storage. But that's because there's so much information being captured. So ProRes RAW is essentially using all the information that the sensor can capture. Every single layer, like the files are going to be huge. This is not going to be for your average everyday person. You're not going to want to use this. But this is why I say your first camera purchase should be upgrading to the highest tier of phone that you can get, because this is something that you can learn with. That's all I'll say for the iPhone Pro. I think the 17 Pro is the thing that you can learn with. And that's what I like about it, personally. That's what I like about it. ProRes RAW. I'm excited to mess with this because in my video series that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to mess with this a lot. I'm going to mess with ProRes RAW a lot. I'm gonna be pushing this thing to its limits. And then time code support, you know, Genlock, so you can like link together a whole bunch of phones and get like a bunch of different angles. 4K 120 Dolby Vision. I mean, 4K 120, that's cool. You know, that's nice. I used it in the 16 Pro Max in my Pro versus Beginner video where we shot the Honda commercial. And whenever we were doing the skyline reveal shot with the car, I shot 4K 120, and it did great. It handled it exceptionally well, and that's what I liked about it. In terms of performance, I mean, battery life, they didn't even really touch on this. They really didn't. They didn't even talk about all this stuff. But that's essentially, I mean, then they talk about Apple Intelligence and all that stuff, and that's about it. So in the comments right now, please let me know what your thoughts are on, like, if you were to get an iPhone, which one would you get, or are you going to skip this generation altogether? Because personally, I'm going to be picking up the 17 Pro Max. I don't know what color it's going to be, but I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to use it in the Pro versus Beginner series that I'll be shooting the rest, probably early October, late September. It'll be around that time frame. So I'm excited to see what it's capable of. If you'd like to see anything tested with it, excuse me. If you want to see tests, like if you want to see like, oh, well, how good is the battery life or how good is the camera quality? Let me know what you want to see tested because I'm not going to shy away from actually doing this. I want to push this to its limits and really like test it. And in ways that like you might not even use it typically. Like for example, I'm testing right now. I'm doing a video with my Insta360 X5 because I picked one up and I've never had one before. I've actually never owned a 360 camera. So I was like, you know what? Let's film a podcast with it. Let's see if it can be a podcast camera. Or like, let's see how good it is at catching BTS. And I got videos of me, you know, scurrying around in a concert, getting video, like shooting behind the scenes. So think of ways that you want it tested. But let's see what we got. I'll go for the iPhone Pro. I don't understand why no black color on the Pro models. That's an interesting call out. I didn't even notice that that there wasn't a black color. Yeah, I think the colors for the Pro could have been better in my opinion. But iPhone Pro, I think 17 Pro solid. The iPhone Air looks more premium than the Pro model. I agree, and I think it's because whenever I was seeing the Pro, it gave like the Apple Watch Ultra ruggedness vibes. It was giving like that strength and that durability and like, you know, action, you know, it was giving that kind of vibe, especially with the color scheme. It seems more like outdoorsy and like that kind of vibe, you know, which is fine. That's fine. But I think that for me personally, I'm not like, oh my God, it's so great. Like I'll probably get the blue one or the white one. I don't know. I got the Desert Titanium for the 16 Pro Max, which I didn't like because in the video it looked very like sand color and stuff. But when it showed up, it has like a pink tint to it. And I was like, that's not what I wanted, but I have it anyways. But yeah, I agree that the iPhone Air, it looks like they went more premium of a look there. And it looks like the Pro, it seems like they're definitely leaning into that durability aspect. Like they want you to like really go out and like make content. They want you to film with this. They want you to go get the pictures. They want you to put this thing through its paces and like show that it can keep up with you. That seems like the vibe that I got. That's my advertising side of my creative vision coming through there. Like I think it's the ruggedness. And it's like, oh yeah, you want to go do crazy stuff? It could do crazy stuff too. Oh, you want to go do like backflips and you want to go like off-roading? It can go too. It's fine. iPhone can hang with you. It's fine. It's chill. It'll keep up. That's what I got from it. Yeah, so that's kind of my 2 cents. I know we're approaching an hour for this live, and it started a little early because they talked about the iPhone early because the iPhone event, I think it was blocked off from 12 to 2, and it's only 1:33 where I'm at. I'm in Central Time, so I I don't know. I'll get the 16 Pro Max. I mean, obviously, or not 17 Pro Max. I already have the 16 Pro Max, so I'll get the 17 Pro Max, and I'll do some tests with that, and then I'll see like what's going on with it. But also, I do want to do some filming tests with Androids as well, so that'll be coming up soon. Um, I definitely want to give that a try and see like how they stack up against each other in terms of like the pro video quality. So like from a professional standpoint, I'll leave you with this. I think that if you are a content creator and you don't already own a mirrorless camera, even if you do, even if you do own a mirrorless camera, I think that upgrading your iPhone or getting an iPhone is always going to be a solid choice. I think any phone nowadays is going to be really good, but we're talking iPhone specific today. So I would get, personally, I would get, I'd go Pro. I'd go Pro. Um, I'd go Pro. Pro Max if you want the extra battery life, but I think you're not going to be upset if you go with the Air. Honestly, I don't think you're going to be upset with the Air. Actually, no. No, I got them mixed up. Don't go with the Air because that one's only got one camera, and it's like, as a content creation tool, I would just go for the regular 17 um, instead of the Air. Personally, that's just my 2 cents. So, yeah. Any closing thoughts in the comments, everybody? What are y'all thinking? How are y'all feeling after this event? I'm feeling pretty okay, I guess. The event happened, but I'm not feeling like, oh my God, it's so great. Like, it's such a leap. It's more like, okay, they made some improvements. ProRes RAW was pretty good. But I think they did fumble on selling the Pro. Because there were a lot of things that just simply weren't discussed. That's my 2 cents. So, I'm going to go ahead and chill. Again, you guys can pre-order these starting on this Friday, which I'm assuming it's probably going to be really early in the morning. So make sure you get all that stuff early and you set an alarm for that if you are going to pre-order. And then it looks like they were landing the 19th. So get you an iPhone if you want one. If not, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you at all. I'm not one of those people. I don't care if your bubbles are green. All right? Everybody, we're all homies here, okay? So I will see you guys in the next live. We just got an influx of people that just started viewing, and I apologize because this could not have been worse timing. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you for going through this experience with me and talking about the iPhone. So I have videos on my channel if you want to check them out that are specifically for how to make movies with your iPhone, how to film like better videos, how to turn everything into a cinematic masterpiece. I have a ton of iPhone content that's already on the channel. So check it out, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the comment section because I'm going to make a community post now. So